Good morning, folks. Luke here at Learning Gardens Lab at the People's Gate. Glad to be with you this morning for your gardening content portion. It'll be just kind of a get whatever you get walking tour. Excited to hear folks' curiosities and questions after you've seen it. So here we are at the People's Gate. As we know, this is going to be a project area for folks who are interested in helping to redesign. You can see it's a little messy. We need to do a little housekeeping, but excited to have folks be able to focus on this as a project. And I have to say, it smells like summer capstone here this morning. Just as I walked up, couldn't help but think that. Here's our farm stand plot, maybe going to be called our harvest share plot. This is, of course, where some of our harvest share produce is coming from. Our farm stand / harvest share coordinator, Hannah Teagle, is stewarding this plot right now. Corn here in front. Little patch of cut greens down there. Beets. Tomatoes being trellised. This is a technique alternatively known or variously known as the California weave or the Florida weave. It's just kind of sandwiching plants together with twine. Basil and some other herbs down there. Squash, there's some big squash hiding in there. Summer squash, that is. Rainbow chard. Peps and eggplants. Peps and eggs. And a little patch of cabbage. This is probably going to be coming out this week for a harvest share. We've had a lot of cabbage so far. It's been a cabbage year, as Steve Solomon might say. This is formerly the Impact Northwest family garden that Malcolm Hoover of Black Futures Farm was stewarding last year. OSU Extension colleague and friend from the beginning Urban Farmer Apprenticeship Program, Rodrigo Corona, is stewarding this plot right now. Looking really great. We got potatoes here, some amaranth, sunflowers, tomatillos, eggplants, nasturtium. Yeah. I'm gonna eat this right now. Spicy. Tomato trellis. This is a technique that I learned about through Josh Satin of Satin Hill Farm, and Rodrigo liked it so much that he went out and grabbed materials for it. So it's electrical conduit and PVC tees and then some string. So we're gonna see how that works this year. And Rodrigo is from Guadalajara, Mexico, originally. And this is a Three Sisters plot that him and his colleague Abel have been growing, and God, it looks so good. So here's our squash, and there's a couple of varieties of squash and beans in here. And you can see the bean circumnuating, as we heard in Robin Wall Kimmerer. Also that bean twining up through the corn here. Our corn. How lush is that? Just incredible. Sunflowers. Looking really good. And you can tell this is kind of the Three Sisters area here, because we've got our little Three Sisters friends over there being watched over by an owl that has various names. You can ask me about those if you're curious later. He and I also installed a pepper patch here with Abel, his co-worker. And we have another Three Sisters patch that we put in, and we've got a couple of types of beans in here, in addition to some Oaxacan green dent corn. And dent corn is a category of corns, but we're hoping that this will be kind of a wild tangle like this. And I believe there's some like grinding corn in this mix. There's also sweet corn in this mix. So it's kind of some of the stuff that's going on over here. Here's our multicultural family gardens plot. There's 10 families in here, and we've got folks who speak Vietnamese and mountain tribal languages. I think Tai Kadai maybe. Pelagie is originally from the Central African Republic. These are folks who are neighbors and live outside of the neighborhood. But it is just a riot of beauty here in Multicultural Family Gardens. Over here we've got our farmer in residence plot. I've been collaborating with some folks on this. I'm kind of the primary steward. Looking a little weedy. I've been staying on top of that pretty well, but it's looking a little weedy right now. Some cutting lettuce. These are straw flower, monsterosum, just starting to come on. Aren't those beautiful? So excited. Here's some more of those cabbages I told you about. Got a lot of cabbage coming out of this plot. Potatoes here, looking a little diseased. This is celeriac. This is going to be a root celery. You can see it already starting to make its little swollen root there. One of our favorite volunteers, lamb's quarter or Chenopodium alba. The song sparrow. Now this is a row of cube of butter and Dirani squash. The Dirani are these green Lebanese kuza type squash, and we'll see the cube of butter at the other end. And then we've got our row of zinnias that are just starting to come on, and really excited to start seeing these flower. A few different varieties. We've got Northern Lights blend here, the kind of the purpley hues. There's peppermints in the middle, and those a few of those got whacked, and they're kind of just looking sad in here. And then the cactus at the other end that's just like ready to go. Looks so good. Back to our squash, we've got been picking on this for a couple of weeks already. If you can get down in here, you can see there's fruit that next to my hand is about that big. That is like ready to go as far as I'm concerned. That's like perfect size. Sometimes we got to dig around because you get these green squash and you can't see them, and then they turn into baseball bats, and then they're not really very good eating at that point, in my opinion. See, look at that one. So we have to pick every other day to keep these things picked and baby so that they taste best. But yeah, there's this nasturtium growing in here. This is a volunteer for, we planted it once, let it go to seed, and it's just been volunteering ever since. Squash are just going to keep going. And squash, so this of course is the female flower attached to the fruit, and then we also have male flowers on stalks, on these like short stalks in here. Let me see if I can find one for you. That's this. Oh, it fell off. Let me see if I can find another one. Yeah, here we go. So the male flowers are on these kind of like narrower stalks like this. Morning, Malcolm.
Hey.
Just doing a little walking tour for my capstone class. You want to say hi?
What's up?
Doing a walking tour for my capstone class. You want to say hi?
Hi, capstone class.
This is Malcolm Hoover, Black Futures Farm. Looking good, man. This is what we would be putting cheese in and frying in a pan. Our pepper row. Lots going on there. And again, that same tomato trellis system. These are 10-foot poles. Too tall, even for me. More straw flower. And over here we've got our mindfulness sanctuary. Now Megan's spring group worked on this plot, and as you can see, even though they were remote, not anybody but the capstone coordinator Brianna was out here, the wisdom of the mindfulness sanctuary took care of things. So we got lavender that the bees are loving over there. We got this white flowering buckwheat, Phagopyrum esculentum, that pollinators just love. Look at that chard. It's like bronze and rainbow, so cool. Calendula next to it there, kind of that starburst or sunburst sort of thing. This here is bronze fennel, which is something that is readily self-sowing, could be called invasive or opportunist. We like to just selectively manage that one because these flowers, or umbels, are a pollinator favorite. We can eat the seeds, we can have the leaves as a licoricey treat or tea, but the pollinators really love these flowers. And they're called umbels, and their family used to be called umbelliferae because they look like an umbrella when upside down, like this, or like this. I don't know. You tell me. But they're now called Apiaceae, the Apiaceae family, because the bees, the apies, really love them. So, some bronze fennel. And got our intention setting circle here at the entrance, and the gateway, a guide to the mindfulness sanctuary here. And you can check out the website that Megan listed in the D2L for this. And there's just so much going on. We've got our borage here that is an edible flower. You can put these in salads. They have a cucumbery flavor. The leaves are edible. The bees love them. The plant is tap rooting, so it sends a really powerful root down into the soil and breaks up soil pans. And it tastes great. Some poppies. I'm happy they are. That was good. Lots of borage. Lots and lots of borage. The bees are happy. Some chard doing its psychedelic Dali sort of wavy thing. Now that's a wind pollinated plant, so the bees will come and eat some of the pollen, but they're not responsible for the majority of the pollination. It's wind pollinated. The unity circle here in the middle. Here's a burdock, edible, taprooting, medicinal, and makes these big leaves. So we gotta work on making sure that this thing doesn't do too much work. It's a generous way of putting it, but can certainly use it for compost making and the like. I just saw one of these double bloom calendula over here that you just gotta check out. Look at this thing. Wow. Wow. So cool. And this here is the medicinal row along the edge. Got a whole bunch of mint there. I have to get whacked back. Some more, maybe Monarda. Oregano in here, peppermint. And of course the grasses. The grasses always come back. Now, remember that fennel? Doesn't this look like that fennel? It does, but it's not. This is dill. Apium graveolens, I think. You know, closely related member, you can tell. More lavender. A rosemary bush to make everybody in those harder frost climates jealous. What else to show you? I don't know. There's just so much here, and happy to walk around, happy to show you more about this place. It is, we just scratched the surface. There's all sorts of little funny pockets and corners where we could go. So I hope you enjoyed. Please make note of questions, curiosities, what stood out to you, what was missing. And I'm excited to make another one for you and answer questions, focus in on stuff. So thanks for being a part. Talk to you soon.